welcome to the Billowing Hilltop podcast. I'm here with, well, quite a lot of us. Hello, a lot of us.
Hello.
Hello. We're all sitting around in the command pod. Dear readers, we put an appeal out for questions the other day on social media, and we got more questions than we were expecting. In fact,
Even
many
answers.
more. I thought we were going to get like 2, and it turns out that we got loads, which is fantastic. It meant, though, that the Q&A episode, the little story thing, which is a bonus ep, which you may or may not have heard by now, we'll get it out as soon as we can. We really thought that we probably ought to dedicate some more time to the readers' questions than trying to cram them into that. So we're going to grab a few. We'll have a talk about them now in the command pod before we start this week's episode. And as we get time or whatever, we'll run through more of them. So, shall I pick one? Shall I pick a question?
Pick one.
Pick a question.
Do it. Be brave.
Do it.
I like that one. That one's a good one.
Bob Jones
Yeah.
asks, if there was a TPK, how would you proceed, if at all? Do you have another campaign lined up? P.S. Please don't stop.
I think we'd
So,
all get new characters and figure a segue story into getting them back in.
Yes, that sounds sensible.
Would we?
Yeah, we probably all
Yeah.
choose different characters.
No, we wouldn't. We'd choose
think
the
we're
brother.
not?
No, the brother or the cousin. It would be, it'd be a family.
I don't know.
relative.
I think we'd choose.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we'd all
Or-
choose new characters.
Stugraft
Yeah.
Stange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't
yeah.
imagine we'd carry on. I mean, it was like
Why
that
not?
Porker.
other big dungeon you did, Mike, where you had
Lady
the only
Penelope.
TPK for a while, and we didn't carry on.
Oh, that thing. The Black Shard.
But that's like
Oh my god.
a decade ago.
Chased by a load of piranha demons. And we
Oh, that thing. Yeah,
didn't
it was
play
the
it
Black
to
Shard,
the end,
but
but
yeah.
it was basically a TPK, wasn't it?
Yes, that was very high level. I think we were playing that in Pathfinder by the end. It was looking grim for the collected heroes, and you were all about 17th, 18th level, and it was just awful, and there was no way it was going anywhere. I think it just got to the point where it was like, can we really be bothered to pick it up because it's so difficult and grim? I don't know what we're going to do next. We had a TPK in Rise of the Rune Lords, and the way
can't
we
remember.
handled that was that you generated new characters who were contacted by the sheriff of Sandpoint to investigate the disappearance of the first set of characters.
Oh,
That's how you got
right
into
at the
doing it
beginning.
again.
Yeah.
That was early.
The TPK was in book 2, I think. Yeah, it was pretty early on. I don't know what we would do with this, Bob. I kind of have a feeling that, I don't know what we would do.
You
It-
come up with something interesting, like I don't know.
Everything like this
Cuthbert
is an
would hire a
opportunity.
group of mercenaries and say, "Oh, I've got this information," or I don't know, Marcus
Yeah, but
Doombringer
can you
would
imagine?
hire
Yeah,
new
yeah.
people or something. I don't know.
The characters
Something
are
would have to
embedded
happen.
in
Slightly
the
different
fate
angle.
and story.
I think we'd have to think of something. Well, yes, Johnny's got this suspicion / theory that your specific characters are intricately bound within the prophecies and the story and everything. So if that's the case, then that would make it very difficult to restart. I just think that the danger levels in this adventure are just ramping up and up and up.
So we may find out.
We may well find
Yeah.
out, yes. And we may well have to think about how that might work.
We cross that bridge when we come to it, rather than having
Yeah.
a sort of plan
Yeah.
in hand now, wouldn't we?
We aren't going to stop, though, Bob. Well, not yet, anyway. God knows what we're going to do when we finish this thing, though. That's a separate question.
A TPK might result in a change in game system.
Oh, I think it almost certainly would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PF2.
Yeah.
Another question.
Let's have another. Well, we've had 2 questions from Alison, a friend of the show, Alison. I've been meaning to ask about a couple of things for ages, so I apologise if these are things you've completely forgotten about. I think we can pretty much guarantee, Alison, that we've forgotten about them. First, what is the context of the song that you all sing whenever you mention Paul and Johnny together? Paul and Johnny, what's the worst that could
Paul
happen? I
and
tried Googling the
Johnny,
lyrics, but didn't get any
what's
hits.
the
Johnny seems
worst
especially
that
tickled
could happen?
every time he sings it, which is adorable. I'll leave that one to Paul and Johnny.
Well, it comes from an advert.
Yes.
I can't. What was the advert?
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
And then it was as a result of Johnny and I endlessly trying to kind of do something together, or endlessly coming up with a plan that was catastrophically failing. And it was
It's
Yes.
Nico's. Nico's sang it.
Yeah, Nico sang it.
One of the
I
billowing
think they-
hilltop that doesn't do the podcast.
Yes, he's an honorary.
Nick is a founding member of the
yes.
Hilltop, a founding elder, but he just doesn't participate in the podcast. Or if he does, he doesn't say very much. But he,
Quiet.
we used to have an attendance problem, especially when we played in person. And I think it came from the fact that we were deciding whether or not we could really just play with just me, Paul, and Johnny, and that was it.
That's
And I
right.
think that's where I think so it was like, well, Paul and Johnny, what's the worst that can happen?
Well,
And
we
that
were
song just came out of that.
Whenever
Yeah.
Johnny and I tried to do something, it was just really awful, really bad.
Well, yeah, just the two of you together cannot be trusted.
No.
That's basically the issue.
And the dice, as we've experienced not that long
Yeah.
ago, when I halted play and said, you know that even though I've got like a +9 in this, and I need to roll a 4 and above, we know what's going to happen. And lo and behold, that's what happened. Yeah.
We've got another question for Paul and Johnny, which we have to do, therefore, while you're both here, and Paul is currently active and charged up.
Oh, yeah.
Back at around episode 73, I mean, I don't know what.
Jesus, that's a while ago.
Paul mentioned that Johnny introduced him to some delicious
Ah, yeah.
Sicilian
Oh,
chilies.
they were nice.
I would love to know more about them and try them myself. So if they remember them and don't mind sharing, I would appreciate the details. There you go. What's the worst that can happen?
Johnny will know this because he sent
You
them to
do
me.
it, Paul. It's Villarreal.
Villarreal,
Yeah.
as in the football team. Okay. Where'd you get them from?
Johnny sent them to me.
I've got a feeling that Alison is in Tennessee.
Yeah, that might be difficult.
Right.
They were really blooming lovely. I don't know if I've got just the
Is it Whitmore and White or something?
Alison, Johnny may have a link, so I
She
will
will send her a
reply
link.
with that link. The rest of our readership of 6 people are just sitting there thinking, what chilies?
But it was a jar of really lovely chilies, really hot, and a
Yes.
bottle of really nice hot chili sauce
Okay.
as well. God, fabulous stuff.
On we go. Shannon, I think Shannon's in Canada. How does Mike keep track of his notes? Do the players use Roll20 character sheets and roll with macros? 2-part question. I keep track of my notes in a document, a completely chaotic Word document on Dropbox, which is currently, and I saw this the other day, so it took me half an hour to scroll through it, 165 pages long,
That's
Ooh.
impressive.
Good Lord.
Wow.
which is pretty much a page per episode. And that sort of shakes out at that. Some of it's longer text. Sometimes I take the box text from the adventure where I've got to change a lot of names because we change a lot of the names to protect the innocent. So that takes up some space. I keep track of the calendar. I always make a note of the day and the time that the episode starts and a quick note of the main things that are going to happen in it. Sometimes that's more successful than others. Witness last night's recording where I hadn't got a clue what I was doing. Little bits of stuff that we get, like story intros go in there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And the conversions I have to do myself. So it does, yeah, it fills out. I don't think you do use Roll20 character sheets, do you, chaps?
Nope.
No.
We use D&D Beyond.
I think it's also blatantly evident that none of the players actually keep any notes or track of anything whatsoever. Oh, there is no. We do have
Oh,
a
no, we do
Slack.
keep track of
We have
some
a Slack
things.
chat thing
Yeah.
which we occasionally fill in.
No, we just
But-
don't keep very good track of like what the actual story plot is. But in
Generally,
terms of
we're
sort
not
of
paying
other stuff,
attention. Yeah,
yeah. So we use D&D Beyond
D&D Beyond.
mainly because with D&D Beyond, if somebody isn't there, you can release your character sheet in D&D Beyond,
Yeah.
and
Although-
somebody else can see it.
Johnny, don't you
Yeah.
still
And-
use Hero Lab? 'Cause
I
you've got-
did for a bit, and then
You've
I,
got Steam-driven Abacus.
there was an issue with it. There was something about it. If you multi-class, it doesn't
it's from
add up
1992.
the ability every 4 levels ability enhancements. It doesn't do
Stop
that
listening
correctly. And I
again.
wrote to them and said it doesn't work, and they didn't get back to me. And they said send a sample character, and I said, where it's happening. I sent them Uncle Buggy, and I said you might recognise this guy if you know.
Oh, you didn't. You didn't.
And then they didn't hear
Yeah,
anything.
of course. Oh, I imagine. Yeah,
Sir,
well, they were probably
sir,
just
I'm-
overwhelmed. You probably thought you were joking.
Sir, I'm most disappointed to find that.
Yeah.
Yours disappointedly from North
Yes.
London.
Something like that.
I roll with macros, but D&D Beyond pushes the dice roll straight into Roll20.
Yeah.
So that's how that works. Have we got time for one
I
more?
think Nick McMillan.
Yeah, Paul, read
Or
out
just
Nick's
Nick,
question.
as we're going to call him.
Nick says, do you or are you suffering from campaign fatigue? Do you ever take a break from long campaigns, and if so, do you ever go back to them? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's some campaigns we've taken, I don't know, 10 years off. Matalan.
We kept.
Pota probably was a bit of a slog.
Yeah, we've got lots of things that we pick up. We're not very good at finishing stuff.
We've never
Nick.
finished anything.
No, we didn't actually. Do you know what we didn't finish? We didn't finish Rise of the Rune Lords. We got halfway through the last book. Yeah. And we played the first section of it on a grand gathering or whatever about, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. And then we've just never picked it up since. We're probably about 3 or 4 days play from the end of that.
Oh,
Just
God.
never did it.
Have we ever finished anything? I don't know.
Have we ever finished any of Graham's, or are we all
depressing.
dead before Graham?
No, we never finish anything.
We never finish anything. This is why we're doing this.
We have to finish this.
Part of the reason for doing this podcast project is so that we actually have something that keeps us, I don't know, focused, locked in, and we actually finish something for once, ever.
Yeah.
Even if I have to massively edit the last books to compress them down into like a massive great fight with sticks or something at the end.
Well, we might
Yeah.
not finish. Might
I
be a
don't
TPK.
feel that we've had campaign fatigue with this,
No.
primarily because it's actually each book has a slightly different flavour.
Well,
I
quite
agree.
quite a
And
significant
that
different
has-
flavour, I'd
yeah.
say. There is
And
a
that has
fresh
actually
aspect
helped
to
a
it.
lot, I think.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that's helped is that we've never been this far into D&D 5 before with characters. We've done a bit of D&D 5. I think in POTA we're about 8th, 9th, 10th level,
Yeah.
something like that. It's
Mm.
about as far as we've got. We've never got into the teens. And so there's a sort of novelty around exploring the system
There is another
a
question
year
that
before
comes
we
out
drop
of
it
it.
forever.
There is another question
Sorry,
that comes
should
out of
say
it,
that.
which is, do we get character fatigue? Which is
Yeah.
an interesting one.
Yeah.
Maybe for another
Well,
chat.
maybe some people do. I don't know. Paul.
Don't know who you're talking about.
I mean, I'm pretty tired of all of you, I have to say.
Observant Lucas. That's player fatigue.
I generally get refreshed by the change in books in the same way as you mentioned. I like to get books done. I think you've picked that up every now and again. I'm like, right,
Mhm.
finally, we finished that
Yes.
fucking book. We can move on and do something else. We've only got 3 more to do after this. Think about it in that way. Nick, I hope that answers your question. Next time we get a chance, we'll all gather and do some more.
And that was actually more enjoyable than the normal sessions anyway.
Much more enjoyable.
Much.
No dice rolling, no arguments,
Mm.
Brief.
no cowardice and backtracking and unprepared DM and any of that stuff. So, as always, readers, we love it if you rate and review us on your podcast app of choice. And you can find us on social media at Billowing Hilltoe on Twix. No P at the end because Paul forgot to buy it.
Yeah.
At Billowing Hilltop on Blue Sky and on Threads and on Instagram. If you're old, you can find us on Facebook. If you're older, you can email us at hello@billowinghilltop.com.
Oh, and we're going to be at Dragonmeet.
Yes.
It's at the Novotel in Hammersmith on the 2nd of December. A few of us are going to be there. Find us on social media or email us, and if we can work something out, maybe we can meet up, say hello,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know. Anyway,
That's it. Thanks, chaps. Until we do this again, let us push on with episode 169 of the Billowing Hilltop podcast.
Poplar Monster.
Nice.
Now, we've had another email.
Uh-oh.
Good evening, everybody, by the way.
Good evening.
Hello.
evening.
Yeah, we keep getting emails. We also got loads of questions. Readers, we'll probably record a Q&A thing at some point
General knowledge quiz.
because we've got many, many more questions than we expected when we asked for questions. It turns out that maybe there are, in fact, a few more than 8 of you. David has emailed us.
Hello, David.
Dear chaps, I wrote some time ago requesting, I don't remember this, I'm afraid, David. Maybe it was on social media or something. I wrote some time ago requesting that there be more badgers within your little podcast and have been most pleased with their inclusion in the Reincarnate Him chant. So there we go. That predates your question, David, I suspect, because that Reincarnate Him chant has been something we've had sort of hanging around our game for eons. Thank you for that. So how could I not return the favour when you request single word expletives for your dear readers?
Minge.
Oh,
There you go.
lovely, yes.
Yours sincerely,
Excellent.
the Green Badger. Where we left things, you had journeyed through something called the Portal of Storms to what seems like another Tilagos Island, maybe the real Tilagos Island. You met some strange characters. One of them was called, I think, Talanthos. Talanthos and his companions told you there were 4 trials you had to complete in order to drink from something called the Fountain of Dreams, which they seem to think is what you mean when you say you're looking for a library here on the island. They didn't really elaborate. They did tell you that your competitors, Dal Quethos, with the Hand of Veshna, and his Efreet companion, and from your conversation with Grogspet the Pirate, there was also a horned devil and a nightmare steed of fire and a pair of weird tiefling twins who had bright animated eyes they've come through this Portal of Storms before you and are also trying to complete the 4 trials. The 4 trials themselves, well, there's not much information in their names, but one of them is silencing the Doomshroud's mournful song. Well, since the forest is called the Doomshroud, you thought, that's a good start, let's start pushing your way in. So you've explored into the forest. You've sent sessions up on the sweepstake to have a look from altitude, and as a result, you've got a sense of now how the whole island is laid out. We won't get into the detail of that. And then that done, you decided to bed down for the night. Just as you were drifting off to sleep, this awful, mournful wail has built and built in volume to the point that it starts to make you feel extremely disconcerted. Can all of you please give me a wisdom save? Thank you very much.
Wisdom save.
Wisdom save, please.
Although-
Just tell me what you get.
Remember, I wanted to do a sort of counter spell.
Oh, how does that work?
Well, it's a bardic thing where I can, if it's a charm effect, basically counter charm.
Yep.
It's actually as an action you can perform until the end of your next turn. So maybe it's not very useful, but I can keep performing, I suppose. During that time, you and any friendly creature within 30 feet that can hear you gain advantage on saving throws against being frightened or charmed.
I think that does make a difference.
Was it about being frightened?
I would say that if you start your song sufficiently early, which I think we can assume that you did, then people can make these wisdom saves at advantage.
Awesome.
Lovely.
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 Okey-dokey.
There's lovely.
23
we got
and
23 for Scaly.
26.
21 for the bug.
Yeah.
14 for Burple.
28 for...
At advantage.
Not my strongest suit, wisdom saves.
Well, ironically, since you've protected all of your fellows, Burple is the only person affected by this song in any kind of mechanical sense. Burple, you are
Dribbling wreck.
dead.
hold up a minute.
Excellent.
Hold up.
Yeah.
+3
What?
to all saving throws if anybody's within 10 foot of me. Aura of protection. Whilst
Burple is still...
31. Excellent. My save is rocking.
Yeah. Sorry, that's still insufficient.
Sorry.
It's alright, can do it again.
Oh, well, I will use my Ort dice.
Ort dice.
Yeah, you could use your Ort dice.
You hurt.
That's worse. Oh, no, I get a
Okay.
D10, don't I? I also get
Yeah,
you
you
get a
get
D10,
D10.
yeah.
So 13, 16, plus a D10.
Knock it out the park. Told you.
25.
There you go.
25. Okay, you're all fine. You're unnerved, you're unsettled, but you're fine. You felt like...
As the bard, do you want to do
What?
your Shazam, and then you will find out what it is?
Yeah, I'll Shazam it.
Cool.
It's, don't know, it's Anthony and the Johnsons or something mournful.
I'm putting my earplugs in.
Pardon?
Oh, those earplugs.
No, proper earplugs.
That you bought at the proper earplug shop.
Well, the ones you made out of your own earwax.
No,
It collects
not
around
those.
your ears.
Not
and you
those
can just
proper
push
ones.
further
So
in.
obviously the bought ones, Mike.
Right, well, you can't hear a bloody thing, Buggy.
What?
You wake up, everybody's left. They've all broken camp. Right, you can spend a rather fitful night. Your dreams are plagued with dark portents. Occasionally, this whale returns, swims past. But you feel that having resisted it once, at least for now, you are fortified against its effects.
Okay.
The next day doesn't dawn. It's still dark and horrid.
Nice.
What would you like to do?
Well,
Keep
we'll
going.
head south
Yeah,
towards the clearing.
carry on.
Heading south towards the clearing that Sessions thought he saw.
Mm-hmm.
About 8 hours heading south, the forest all around you. And then up ahead, you notice a break in the relentless darkness. You think you must have found this clearing. I'm going to say you think it's about 50, 60 yards away, maybe a little bit further before you notice just the first glimmer of what must be daylight. I don't want to put you too close to this clearing. I know you like to sort your plans out. What do you want to do?
A little dance, I think, mate.
I've got Death Ward running, and I'm going to do a freedom of movement.
Okay.
I'm taking out my axe. Is
Long
it still?
strider.
Your axe feels diminished, Buggy,
Fuck it.
just like last
Oh,
time.
it's a new day, isn't it? So I'll do aid.
Okay. Who are you picking?
I'm picking
Me.
which I guess is Barker.
Parker.
Barker, Burple, and myself.
Was that 10 extra or 5 extra?
10 extra.
Okay. Buggy has cast his impregnability spells.
His pregnancy spells.
Now what?
I'll follow Scaly. Presumably he's going into the clearing.
Skelly's going to light up a cigar, take
Okay.
a
Yep,
breath,
that's not the same as going to the clearing.
and then is going to head towards the clearing.
Very
And he's
similar
going to
then,
do...
Are you just stomping towards it? Are you
Yeah,
creeping towards
stealthily.
it?
No, I don't do stealth. I have disadvantage on stealth.
So you're just going to
I'm
stomp
going to-
towards the clearing.
I'm going to move stealthily.
Go for it.
Okay.
I'm going to do my... where has it gone?
Oh,
I
no.
don't know.
Fuck, you know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Divine Sense.
Right. Oh, outsiders and somethings.
Celestial fiends,
Within-
undeads within 60 foot. That's not behind total cover.
Yeah. Okay.
do
You're not
that.
picking anything up from that. You're getting closer and closer to where you think the clearing opens, as it were.
Yep. And I will stop on the edge of the clearing. What do I see?
Well, I'll put us on a new map. You won't put you down on this map, Paul. You're approaching from the north. It's expansive.
It's expansive.
It's unnaturally clear of
It's
trees.
remarkably square
Unnatural.
as well.
The centre is dominated by a giant, twisted, black, leafless tree.
Mm.
It's fully 60, 70 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
Across its girth,
It's got a big girth, has it?
one would have to say
Quite a wide.
the base, the trunk, and the main core of this thing is
Solid.
15 feet across,
That's a solid
with
girth.
the roots and so forth, and the branches spread out to about 30 feet.
So,
Then there's a large area of open ground
uh-huh.
that runs between your position, the very north part of the clearing, and this tree itself. It's 120 feet, something like that. Anybody joining Scaly from his vantage point? I'm not going to put any minis on the map yet. We're just going to...
you're not being
Yeah.
committed.
I'm next to
I'm
Scaly.
not committing people to being outside. I'm saying that you're in the tree line.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Buggy is joining Scaly in the tree line.
Yes, so
Yeah.
it's purple.
I've got my X out.
The tree is swaying. Again, it's swaying like the other trees around you, not seemingly at the bidding of the wind, but rather of its own volition or driven by some other force. And the swaying is a little moment where you have to sort of almost kind of blink and look away. It's quite a hypnotic thing to look at.
Of course it is.
The sinuous movement of the limbs and branches undulate like serpents dancing to the tune of a mournful melody.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to do...
If the quest was to find it and look at it, you've succeeded.
Yeah, we found it. We've looked at it.
The silence of the Doomshroud's mournful song.
Well, maybe we have to wait until evening.
Maybe
Or-
we'll wait until dark. What time is it?
Or preempt it and just... Can somebody just drop a fireball on it?
I think you've done 2 or 3 hexes. Let's say you've done 3 hexes. Each hex is
2 hours. So that's 6
2 hours. Yeah.
We started at what? 8?
Well, whenever you wanted to have... Yeah, I mean, it's whenever you wanted to have started. But let's just say it's...
The mid-afternoon.
Let's call it lunchtime. Let's not get too specific. Unless it's critical to some spell that you want to
No.
try and cast that won't work. I mean, to try and cast.
Fireball.
Yeah.
Fireball the tree.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do? People. Looking at the tree, it is undulating hypnotically.
I will call out. Hello there.
Okay? Nothing.
I will cast detect. Oh, it's not far enough.
I could shoot a guiding bolt at it as a starting point.
Well, do we know it's the tree, not something living in the tree?
Why is it always violence?
'Cause-
Why is it?
I want to bash something.
Why didn't you run out and see what happens?
Because tentacles will grab me out.
Well, but I thought you wanted to bash something.
Yeah, I'll bash it from a distance.
It's not
What Johnny wants. I know what Johnny wants. Johnny wants simple, no nonsense.
risk-free combat.
Enemies.
Yes.
Like from the old days. No shenanigans. None of this modern namby-pamby stuff with
Yeah.
effects
That's
and hypnotic
Never
stuff
get
and
it.
reach.
Never get it.
None of this reach and all of this attacks of opportunity fish and all of this bollocks. He wants a big monster like something like an ogre.
Yeah, good old-fashioned
He wants like
bashing
9
something.
ogres with clubs
Yes,
that he can just run around and have a combat
exactly.
with, do damage on, and have them fall over. Those days are gone.
Everybody wants that, don't they? Am I alone
from time
in
to-
that?
Kinda.
How about doing a silence spell on the tree?
Okay.
I did think about that, but I don't have a silent spell.
I do, I think.
Well, why don't you try that?
Let me just have a look. It's the second level. Yes, I've got one.
Mhm.
120 feet. I usually like to defer to the other cleric, though.
The senior.
Altar boy, you could
That
give it a
kind of
go.
thing.
Now you defer.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
What's the area of effect?
It's a bit too far.
Come on. Sarah.
So I have to go about 15
Just
feet in
go
the
out.
clearing.
Go a bit closer, Johnny. And
Go on.
What's the area of
all right.
effect?
Famous last words. I'll go 15 foot into the clearing and do a silent spell,
What's the area?
and
of
then
effect?
come back.
Isn't it best to wait until it's actually making the noise at night to do the silent spell?
I thought it was making the noise now.
Was it just doing it at night time?
Mike?
No, it's not
last-
making any noise. It's undulating.
Only might last 10 minutes.
15 feet out into the clearing like that.
Well,
Uncle
I
Bucky,
don't
put your
know. I
mini
don't
down.
know now. Paul's got a point. Maybe we should wait.
No,
Hold
back
person,
into the trees.
stick him there, see what happens.
Uncle Buggy. I'm going to start putting minis on, but in the trees, so that
Yeah.
you guys have got something that you can move and control.
I think we wait until it starts to sing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're
Well,
not really...
wait and see if that's the thing that's singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a sensible thing to do.
Or we
What
just
was one of the
preemptively try and damage it.
What was one of the tests about about singing or something? Wasn't there a siren?
Silence of the Doomshroud's mournful song.
Silence of the moon shroud.
Silence.
Doom
Yeah.
Shroud.
Not silence of the.
Mike, the
Why don't
song,
we-
the noise ended as we moved from night into day, didn't it?
It wasn't running constantly.
You fell asleep with it resonating through you.
And when we woke,
When you woke, it had stopped.
okay.
Flummoxed by a tree.
No, but I mean, that seems to me a sensible thing to do, is to wait until nightfall. Presumably, if this is a clearing, we can also tell the difference between night and day, Mike, right?
Of course, yeah. Of course you can,
Right,
Malcolm.
so we can wait until nightfall, see if it's the tree that's actually doing the wailing, and observe whether it does changes in any way when the sun goes down. I mean,
Living it up.
of course, the
Living it up.
clue is a bit vague.
It's a bit weird. If it said silence the doom.
The silence.
said-
No, so it just said, well, Mike said, the silence of the Doomshroud's mournful song.
He said,
But if it said silence the doom
It
cowed
did.
song,
It
that
did.
makes more sense.
The
Well-
Doom Cow?
It says silence
The doom-
of the doom cows.
it doesn't say so. It doesn't say so.
Doomshroud.
Well,
The Doom Cows?
I guess one thing to think about is all of our long duration spells will expire if we just sit here and do nothing for like 6 or 8 hours.
That's the sound of Graham regretting his AIDS spell.
Yep.
So are you going to go in and do something, Graham, then?
No, but same Death Watch only lasts 8 hours.
Oh, no, but do you want to go in and fire a bolt off?
Oh,
No, I want the squishies to go to the front.
Squishies?
You know,
keep it above the waist, Johnny.
and
Okay.
probe around for probes. I'm waiting for the probes to do their thing and make stuff happen.
Parker and Scaly, you mean?
I meant the altar boy and Scaly, who were all bullish marching into the woods, but as soon as he finds something, they're all like the squishies who like to hide at the back.
Nicely said,
I've-
Graham.
I've not.
Graham, it's all very well telling people to go and do something. Why don't you know?
I'm
you
very
could- you could be-
consistently hiding at the back.
Can we send the probe in?
That's
You are the probe.
No, I think the thing on the broom is the probe, isn't it?
I think that's your senior spellcasting
I'm
resource.
going to go in.
Well, you don't want to lose
I'm
the
going
main
to go in.
fighter,
I've
do you?
heard- There's this kind of like.
Well, I'm
Scaly's
worried
doing it.
now. The main
Oh,
fight is
he's
heading
doing
into
it.
the. Yeah.
I'm going in.
This is what always happens. Yeah.
I'm going in. I've had enough of
Scaly.
this whinging from the back. So
Yeah.
Success.
Famous last words.
I presume this bickering is all from the
playing.
tree line. Right. Completely audible. Can't see anybody. All you can hear is, no. All I'm saying. Wait a minute.
it's like Monty Python.
It is very Monty Python, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
You just hear Scaly go, fuck it, I'm tired of this.
Fuck
Yeah.
it.
You wouldn't have thought
Strides
we were
out.
15th level characters, would you?
Right.
Works every
Well,
time.
you'd
15th?
better be.
He's casting haste, and he's gonna.
Are you 15th? I'm not
Yeah.
15th. I'm 14th.
You've got more
Attunement slots.
attunements, yeah.
10, 15, 20, 25,
And you're stepping out, and Uncle Buggy starts
There
to move
goes Uncle
south.
Buggy.
Absolutely classic.
What?
Just waiting for the first
I'm
person
just
to
moving
go.
up, ready to give the support that's needed.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
Yeah,
nice one.
yeah.
That's right. The support.
That's what was
I'm just here
going
to
on.
give support.
Well, all along, I wasn't just waiting.
Giving support.
Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. Okay, but not quite looking at the map, everybody. Emerging from the trees. Have you noticed? Just still technically.
They got
in
me
the
X
trees.
out anyway.
Too much information. It feels diminished, Buggy.
Scaly.
Scaly,
got his
you
cigar.
step out into the clearing.
Got his-
What do you want to do with your time? You've cast your
A cast
haste spell?
haste. His cigar is clenched between his teeth. He's got his massive chopper in his two hands,
Oh.
and he's
and that's it.
and he's moving forward. Yeah.
Well, let's roll for initiative.
Hooray!
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 Fuck's sake.
Hooray, says Johnny, and then we'll complain about this combat
Like, oh.
now until the end.
Of time.
17 for Uncle Bug.
No, I never would have done that.
14 for Scaly.
18 for Parker.
18 for sessions.
Gets 24,
24.
which is not what I wanted.
Okay, so we've got Burple on 24, Sessions on 18, Parker on 18, Buggy on 17, Scaly on 14, and then I've rolled initiative for something that's called Tree, and that is on 4. Round 1, off we go.
Come on, golden bollocks.
Burple, 24.
I'm readying a fireball.
And are you taking a move action?
No.
Sessions on 18. Disappointingly early in the order for Graham.
Well, I seem to be directly behind. That looks like a line, so I'm going to move.
Oh, yes, you seem to be in a direct line.
Line.
between
Yeah,
you,
that seems a
Buggy,
bit
it,
risky.
and the
So
tree.
I'm going to move.
Yeah, you see the
to
tree
my-
reach into a pocket and withdraw a wand of lightning bolts.
Exactly. Just in case, I'm going to shift myself to the edge of the clearing.
Yeah, off a little bit to the west.
Yeah.
On 18, it's Parker.
I am going to move round the edge of the forest
Yes.
to the east. So basically, I'm moving around to the north, or I'm
Oh,
moving
yeah,
to
you-
the northeast corner and then down the eastern edge. I'm running.
On
around.
17, it's Uncle Buggy.
Right, I'm going to move out up to alongside Scaly.
Yes.
Then I
That's
think-
so we just got Scaly and Buggy standing out and proud in the clearing, north of
Right.
this giant tree.
I can reach, it's 120 feet away, so I'm doing a 3rd level guiding bolt. So it's +7 to hit, 23.
Is a hit. What happens?
24 points of radiant damage. And the next attack roll made against it has advantage before the end of my next turn because of a mystical dim light.
Can you make, Buggy, a wisdom saving throw when you do that?
Against what? Because
Against a spell-like effect.
Okay, I have advantage against being frightened, I have advantage against poison, and I've got earplugs in.
Has it got a verbal component?
Yeah, his funny little mouth opens. Yeah, you can roll at advantage.
Add 2 to this. 7,
9.
no. And again, 14.
14 is insufficient. You are...
Hang on, but maybe I use my Urt. Have I got any
Oh,
idea
yeah, do you
what
wanna
it's...
use-
the earplugs aren't making any difference. There's no weird sound or anything like that.
Do you want me to tell you what the effect feels like?
Yeah.
You're just seized by your deepest fear. Like, it's made manifest, made real in your mind. Whatever it is that Buggy is secretly most scared of. Probably soap, I'm guessing.
They're quite hygienic. Well, no, I'm
And
not.
you are frightened.
Right, I'm going to use my Urt.
Okay?
Yep. So
I mean,
I'll
it's a
roll
bit
this.
naughty, but there we go. Yeah.
Well, no, that's why I said, what do I feel? Because I wanted you to... I wanted to
You wanted
have
to
the
know what would happen
bit-
if you failed before you decided whether or not to use your Ort dice.
No. No, I said, what have I got any feeling of what it is like, and you gave me a description, then I was going to go, right, I'm going to use my...
Okay, go for it. Do it, yeah.
Okay, so I get this. Oh, natural 20, that's 22, and I don't even have to roll extra D10.
Absolutely fine.
Right. Then the rest of my go, I'm nonchalantly retreating back into the tree line.
Okay, fine. Your guiding bolt. We just
Did it do any damage?
Else.
Do I think? My 24 radiant damage.
Yeah, you think that you've damaged the tree, yeah. 100%. Well, 50%. No, 100%.
20%.
On a
Somewhere
good
between
day.
20 and 50%.
Okay.
24 points of
Next
radiant
attack has
damage.
advantage.
It didn't seem to unusually damage it.
Right.
Doesn't look like it was particularly vulnerable to radiant damage. Yep.
Okay.
Right, what's next? Let's have a look at the turn order. This is very exciting. I'm pretending. On 14, it's Scaly O'Toole.
Okay. Scaly's going to cast Blinding Smite, and then he's going to run up and bash. Actually,
Okay, this will be interesting to see.
I'm just worried that this thing, because it hasn't got any eyes, can't be blinded. What do we think?
I don't think I can contribute.
I think that's a fair...
It's a pretty good
assumption.
guess, I would have thought. Also quite a long way to run.
Yeah, I'm hasted, and I've got 40.
It's as fast as me.
I'm guessing it's not actually looking at you.
In which case... for God's sake. I
Have you
don't
got a
know.
good-
All seemed so easy before.
Right, so I can move, and cast a spell. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay, tell us all about those moments.
I'm going up to about there, and I'm going to...
Lovely. National Radio Awards.
I'm going to about 30 foot away from it.
Running as close to it as you can. So you're moving, what, like 80, 90 feet?
80, 90 foot.
With a... Yeah,
And then
you're right up to it. Okay,
And then
yeah.
I'm casting
It's looming over you, undulating,
Bane.
sinuously.
Up to 3 creatures of your choice you can see within range must make charisma saving throws. Whenever a target that fails
Yeah.
this saving throw makes an attack roll or saving throw before the spell ends, and target must roll a d4 and subtract that number.
Got it. Anyway, so
Oh, for fuck's
with
sake.
an 18 on
Jesus.
the blue dice.
Blue
of
dice.
doom.
Power.
Well, there you are then.
Yes.
I'm
Is
fucked.
that you done?
Yeah, well,
I
that's-
mean, you're,
Now it's tree womping
you're very
time.
close to it now, Scaly.
Yeah, well, I hope the cleric's happy. Something squishy is up there now.
Yeah.
At the end of your turn,
It's its turn.
Scaly. No,
Oh.
it does something, and then it's its turn.
Oh, legendary
Well, if it's
fucking
doing
bollocks.
something, my fireball goes off.
What was your condition for fireball? Like an attack or something?
Like, if the tree proves to be hostile.
Well, that's good enough for me.
Nicely worded.
It's a very nicely worded thing. Proves hostile is lovely.
Yes. It's
Isn't
good,
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I- Let's just say that you interpret what is about to happen, although it hasn't yet happened, as hostile. I presume you can't know that it's hostile until I tell you what happens, right?
Okay.
And then you cast the fireball.
Okay,
I
I
mean, that
guess.
seems reasonable.
Yes.
Well, what happens is, Scaly, can you make a strength saving throw, please?
You'll be good at this.
Get ready for your dice.
And
Oh, no,
Uncle
22.
Buggy, 22, and Uncle Buggy, I'm just going to check the range of this thing.
Whoa.
Yes, and Uncle Buggy, can you also make a strength saving throw?
What's happening?
Well, there's a sudden blast of hurricane force wind emitting from this tree out to everywhere.
Sounds familiar.
Strength check.
Strength save.
Just trying to work out if my Tempest domain gives me any other protections. No, okay. So I'm
Yep.
adding 9 plus 9. That
Oh,
seems
wow.
a bit. Is that
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, it'll be proficiency
Yes, of
on
course.
that save.
Yeah, you got proficiency on it, yeah.
Okay, so 25.
You save. That's
I
that
bloody
done.
well hope
now,
so.
And now, Burple, your spell is triggered.
Okay. Well,
Where are you centering it?
in the middle of it.
Okay, yeah.
It does
Or what's the save piece? Oh,
DC 17, 35 points of fire damage.
Okay, it rolls an 8, which is obviously poor. It doesn't seem to take any damage from your spell.
He's got one of those legendary things, isn't he? But he won't have that many of those.
And now it's its turn.
Doesn't it get one around? one of those automatic choose to
Might
save
do,
kind of
or it
thing.
might just get a couple a day.
I'll leave you lot to ponder on that. Scaly.
Hello.
This creature, this tree,
Yeah.
well, you don't know if it's coming from the tree, you don't know if it's coming from the forest itself,
Mm-hmm.
but a sphere ripples out. It seems to be placed equidistant between you, Scaly, and Uncle Buggy.
Mm-hmm.
Can both of you make a Constitution saving throw? No, Buggy, it's nothing to do with fear.
Poison?
No, it's nothing to do with poison.
15.
15 from Scaly
15.
and a 15 from Buggy. Both of those are insufficient. You take the following damage. Negative energy
What
damage. Do you wanna?
Yeah.
Okay. Necrotic damage, sorry, rather than negative energy damage.
18, 25, 31.
Okay. 35 points of damage, saved to half.
So,
Necrotic damage,
17.
35 on Uncle Buggy. Burple on 24.
I'm going to do another fireball.
Did your fireball do any damage?
No.
So why do it again?
Because
If
it
it's-
does
if
damage,
it's-
he just has a legendary save.
Oh, hold up. You're right. It did do some damage. I'm very sorry.
So it
It
saved.
did do some damage.
It saved.
Your
it.
last.
It can choose to
Yeah.
save.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it took 17.
my mistake.
But it's probably vulnerable to fire, so...
But how many times do you think it can do that? Johnny seems to think it can only do it.
I don't know, but if you
Okay.
do a fireball,
I'll
I'll
do
do a fireball
I'll do a
this round
fireball,
as well. Maybe
DC
there's a chance
17
another fireball
dexterity
once
save.
around.
Can I either do it
twice.
once a round or a few times a day? I can't remember.
31 this time.
It makes the... Oh, no. Okay. What do you think that lands, Burple?
31 points of fire damage.
To say it looks a bit singed. Anything else? Gonna move? Do anything else?
Nope.
On 20, out of the normal turn count, from this undulating, twisted, menacing, giant tree, you can hear building much more quickly than last night when you were out in the forest. This awful, sorrowful sound. This time, it's different. This time, you're sufficiently close that you feel it wash over you.
I do counter
And
charge.
we'll find out what happens to people that fail their saving throws against the mournful whale, the blue whale, when we pick things up
Next week.
Yes.
At least the Ort dice should have refreshed.
Yes, that's
Yes.
true. I'm going to need that because wisdom saves -1.
The Billowing Hilltop podcast is a Billowing Hilltop production. Dungeons & Dragons is a trademark of Wizards of the Coast. The Library of Last Resort and Age of Worms are copyright Paizo. The Library of Last Resort was written by Nicholas Logue. Music is from Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com and is used with thanks under the Creative Commons license. Additional music and sound effects come from the wonderful Sirenscape. All other original material is copyright Billowing Hilltop. Role-playing games are all about getting people together, and we use Roll20 as our tabletop, the perfect place to host your game, and Discord to host our chat. Thanks for listening.
Welcome, I'm Bastet. I'll be running your operation. The project's official name is the Adventurers Research of Abnormal Civilian Experiences, or Project Arrowace for short, to investigate the unusual occurrences that have been happening everywhere recently. I've hired you all for your indisputable military prowess,
I'm going to be honest, I think we should run.
your academic expertise,
I don't know, I'm not a wizard in real life.
and your hands-on experiences.
Tentacles belong in the ocean!
I also lost all my food, so Delphi, in a few hours you might start looking really delicious.
Can everyone please roll for initiative?
Oh, I nearly cussed so hard.
Deck of Many Aces is an actual play podcast made by an all-aromantic and asexual cast and crew. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever else you listen to podcasts, releasing every other Friday. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Deck of Many Aces.